Tesla has finally launched a Robotaxi in Austin, Texas. And as an Uber shareholder, I have to comment on the event, comment on what happened, and I have to update you guys on my thesis on Uber. As I have to admit, after the Robotaxi event, I kind of changed my thesis a little bit on Uber. I still like the company, I still love the stock, I'm holding it, I haven't sold a single share. I told you guys many times I see $100 this year, and after $100, 20% a year for many years to come. I told you guys you weren't late at $70, $80, $85. Now it's sitting at $91, and it has been doing really well this year. But I have some things that I have to talk about, and they kind of changed my thesis a little bit on the stock, and I decided to listen a little bit to the Tesla shareholders that have been telling me why Uber is going to zero. I don't believe Uber is going to zero. In fact, Uber went up on the event 7.8%. It didn't really go down. But there's some things that I'm kind of waking up to in terms of Tesla and the robo-taxis and everything for the future. So I'm going to talk about that today, and I really hope you enjoy it as always. Now, based on what I've seen through many different news outlets, the launch wasn't really successful at all, and there were widely shared videos of malfunctioning of those Tesla robotaxis. One Tesla robotaxi was spotted traveling the wrong way down the road, so it's just a disaster. Another one was shown braking hard in the middle of traffic or something due to a police vehicle. They pressed the brake in the middle of the traffic, and it was caught on tape. So that was really bad. And they notified the agency, I believe the regulatory agency, and I said that they are aware of the accidents, and they contacted the manufacturer to gather additional information. So it wasn't really a huge success, in my opinion, not a success at all. And this is something that Elon Musk has been promising since 2015. He told Tesla shareholders that cars would achieve full autonomy within 3 years. In 2016, he said Tesla EVs would be able to make a cross-country drive without needing any human intervention before 2017. And in 2019, Musk said that Tesla would have 1 million robo-taxi vehicles by 2020. None of that has happened. So far, Tesla hasn't delivered on their promises since 2015, 2016, and it's still not perfect, but it is a very impressive product, especially for the price. And they rolled it out at a flat fee of $4.20. This is really cheap, guys. I mean, if they do roll it, and this is an introductory rate, so it's not going to be permanent, but if they do roll it out to attract customers, in the beginning, it would really hurt the Uber business model, and especially if they expand it to different cities. Now, they can do 420 because this is a small area within the Austin area, and it would be profitable for them to do it at 420. But if they decide to do some kind of an introductory rate, and Tesla can afford it, through many different cities to just kill market share from Uber, that will encourage a lot of people to potentially use Tesla vehicles. And especially now, the CEO, he's not as politically involved as he was before. He stepped away. So that could also encourage more people to use the Tesla robotaxis in the future, even if they don't really agree with a certain party. And especially for the cost, most people, they just want to save money. They don't really care about what it is. They just want to save money. And the cost per mile of a Tesla robotaxi, they said it's 50 cents, but it's estimated to be between 30 cents to $1.10 per mile. Waymo is $1.66 to $2.50. Uber is $1 to $2. So Tesla is by far the lowest cost producer in terms of the robotaxis for a cost per mile basis. And even their cars, they're really hard to compare them with Waymo. Like if we look at Waymo, they have 29 cameras, 5 LiDAR sensors, 6 radars. The car costs $200,000 and you can't even buy it. For Teslas, they don't have 29 cameras, they have 9 cameras. They don't have any LiDAR technology. They have computer vision and AI, and it doesn't cost $200,000. It costs $37,500, and you could actually buy the car. So to me, this is very, very impressive. Again, I'm not trying to defend Tesla shareholders. I don't own Tesla and I don't care much for the stock, but I'm just being honest. This is very impressive stuff. And it's really hard to compare Waymo and Tesla with what Tesla was able to achieve. Now, this is a report from Bloomberg Intelligence, and they pretty much predict that by 2026, Tesla will have 35,000 vehicles in terms of robo-taxis, and Waymo is only going to have 2,000. That would be insane kind of growth for a company like Tesla. So as an Uber shareholder, you can't just shrug all of it off and say, yeah, whatever, and that's not going to happen because maybe you don't like the CEO or you don't like the company. You have to take your bias out of the equation and you have to look at it. 50 cents cost per mile. If they roll it out at a flat fee of 420 or 320 or something low for them to take market share, and then people get used to the product, then they increase it further, that could really hurt the Uber business model. I'm just being honest. Now, my argument was that it could hurt it in the United States, but it's not going to hurt it much in Europe, where Tesla doesn't have an advantage. You have BYD, you have other companies that cost much, much less than a Tesla. And I still maintain this view that the delivery business of Uber is not going to be affected anytime soon. So Europe and international business of Uber, which is around 50%, is not going to be affected anytime soon. But the US business, especially if they roll it out beyond Austin and if everything goes well, is going to take a few years. But I believe it will ultimately put a dent on Uber's business model. Now, for the near term, Uber is still dirt cheap. It has priced a lot of things in. This is why the stock is going parabolic, because it was just going down because of the Tesla Robotaxis. They're going to kill the Uber business model. And I did tell you guys that this could happen, but it's not going to happen this year, and it's not going to happen next year. It's not going to happen anytime soon. So the stock was too cheap to ignore. It went to 12 times cash flow. Now it's sitting at 16 times cash flow. This is dirt cheap, 16 times cash flow for a company that's growing cash flow like crazy and is expected to keep growing this cash flow. You could say around 22% in 2025, 24% in 2026. At 16 times cash flow, this is less than 1 times price to free cash flow growth. So the stock has priced in a lot of those risks. The stock is dirt cheap. I think it will likely keep going up. We could even see $100 per share this year, and it's likely going to grow 20% for the next 1 to 3 years. But I look at Uber, and then I look at Google. You know, it's a weird comparison, but Google is getting discounted. It's not doing too well because the market is saying that ChatGPT and other kind of AI models are taking market share from the search engine. So it's getting this kind of treatment, and this is a legit kind of concern, and the stock is being discounted. Now, I personally believe Uber will likely get its Google kind of treatment likely around 2028, because now Tesla still has a lot of hurdles to go through for them to be able to expand the Robotaxi program. They're still in Austin. It's a small area, and they already have a lot of mistakes, and the regulators are complaining. So it's not going to be too easy for them to scale on a massive scale as fast as they would wish they could do it. So I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. But I think in 2028 to 2029, I would guess that Uber will start getting the Google kind of treatment, where the market starts saying that Tesla's robotaxis are going to kill the Uber business model in the United States, which is a large chunk of the revenue, and they start discounting the stock. So for me personally, the only thing that has changed with my thesis is before me waking up to this reality, which I believe is still legit, and maybe I should have listened a little bit to the Tesla shareholders. They had a good point, and now I'm seeing it a little bit more clearly. But the way I would look at it is, I think Uber for me is no longer a buy and hold forever stock. So before I bought Uber, I said Uber is going to be a buy and hold forever. I believe Uber to me is like a buy and hold until 2028, 2029. Before the autonomous vehicles kind of things really start hurting the business model, I will most likely be out of the stock, or unless I find a much better opportunity. I'm up like 40% since I bought it in February. It's been just an amazing journey, and I shared it all on YouTube. It's all public, and many of you guys are up as much as I am. But I think Uber for the short term, it's dirt cheap. I would never sell it at this price. It's dirt cheap for the fundamentals. But if Uber goes to 24, 25 time cash flow, and then Tesla is expanding and autonomous vehicles are on the horizon, and we're like in 2027, I might consider selling the stock. So the only thing that has changed for me is like my time horizon. I have nothing against, Uber or Waymo or Tesla or any of those things, and I still love the business. I'm not selling it anytime soon, but I don't believe it's a buy and hold forever. I think the autonomous vehicle risk is legit, but I still believe the stock has discounted enough of that in the near term, and I think it's more of a longer term risk where Uber could potentially get its Google kind of treatment maybe in 2028, 2029. So if everything else is equal, I will likely be out before then. And that was just an update that I wanted to give you guys on YouTube. Although I don't do those things very often, I don't really share what I do on YouTube. I share what I do in my own investment group. This is the link if you're interested. But I try to share something, and because I told you guys about the stock before, so I wanted to update you on my thesis and how I'm thinking about it. And I'll update you again if I believe I was wrong on this assessment. But that's how I'm thinking about Uber right now, after seeing, the Robotaxi launch at 420 and the low cost per mile and everything else. To me, the picture is getting clearer, and I'm an open-minded person. I look at both sides of the story, and that's what I'm seeing for now. So that was just my thesis on Uber, not financial advice. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did enjoy it, please press the like button and maybe consider subscribing. So I'll talk to you in another video.